migrants take flight.
He is a coward.
Sent to Massachusetts by Florida's governor. Now he's speaking out.
To be sanctuary jurisdictions.
Our DC bureau checking in with Congressional Hispanic Caucus.
People like us are in leadership positions.
As Hispanic Heritage Month kicks off.
You gotta be back on your A game, and everything's a little more of a challenge.
And speaking of kickoffs, the Dolphins readying for the season's first road game. These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. I'm Amanda Gray.
I'm Elena Key, and today is Friday, September 16th, 2022.
Live from the South Florida Media Network's Biscayne-based studios in North Miami, this is SFMN Newsbreak.
A war of words this morning between lawmakers in Massachusetts and Florida and Governor DeSantis. The Venezuelan community in the U.S. has been speaking out after DeSantis flew about 50 migrants to Massachusetts.
And they did it on very short notice.
To ship up 50 immigrants here, families, children as young as 4, and use them as political pawns just so he could get on Tucker Carlson and beat his chest about how he's tough on immigration. He is a coward.
To be sanctuary jurisdictions, saying how bad it was to have a secure border. The minute even a small fraction of what those border towns deal with every day is brought to their front door, they all of a sudden go berserk, and they're so upset that this is happening.
Other sanctuary states like Rhode Island are preparing for the unpredictable circumstances, devising a plan for incoming migrants.
A meeting in our nation's capital this week for a new generation of Hispanic leaders. Reporter Lida Delgado from our DC bureau is in Washington this morning.
We are here at one of the largest gatherings in the country of Latino leaders and activists. This year's CHCI's conference theme, Rooted in Strength, Achieving Our Dreams, is focusing on empowering the next generation of Latino leaders. Vice President Kamala Harris delivered opening remarks by emphasizing how the Biden administration plans to address some of the most pressing issues facing the Latino community ahead of midterm elections and urged everyone to vote in November. Latinos are the second largest group of voters in the country, and 1 million each year become eligible to cast ballots. Every 30 seconds, a young Latino or Latina turns 18.
Ahead of the midterm elections, it's important to have civic engagement and just to be connected here to folks that are in government relations and public policy, and also to educate ourselves about the issues. We need to know what issues are, especially as Latino voters, because we need to elect people that represent us.
More than 24 sessions focus on a wide variety of issues, including jobs, the economy, healthcare disparities, and media representation. Conference goers said they felt inspired to strengthen their leadership skills to tackle these matters.
A lot of times people don't know that people like us are in leadership positions and have the power to create real change. So by amplifying voices, we're able to really show of the progress we're able to make when we have Latinos in positions of power.
As we move towards a future where Latinos will account for nearly 30% of the population by 2050, conference goers have said that discussions held this week have uplifted them to play a crucial role for change in the upcoming midterm elections. My name is Lydia Delgado in Washington, D.C. for the South Florida Media Network.
A shocking blow to the DOJ as a federal judge denies them access to certain classified documents from Mar-a-Lago. In a ruling that shocked both parties, Judge Aileen Cannon announced yesterday that a special master will be appointed to filter privileged documents from the former president's home. Judge Cannon also said she doesn't buy into the DOJ's claims of a national security risk and is prioritizing Trump's claim of attorney-client and executive privilege. The Justice Department says it will appeal the ruling.
Even as the gas prices level off, the prices for food are still rising. The network's Samuel Rodriguez Garcia takes a look at what's more expensive.
Food prices are soaring at rates not seen since the late 70s.
Food prices are up 11.4% on a year-ago basis.
That's according to the latest Consumer Price Index released Tuesday by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, which also showed that overall, grocery prices jumped 13.5% over the last year. The data highlighting what Americans are already seeing at the supermarket. Most food items are more expensive than a year ago, including the bare essential. Egg prices are up nearly 40%. Flour got more than 23% more expensive. Milk rose 17%, and the price of bread jumped more than 16%.
Their own personal finances, which largely can be translated into personal disposable income, well, that's falling in real terms.
There's also sticker shock at the meat and poultry counter. Chicken prices are up nearly 17%. Meat and pork are both up nearly 7%. Fruit and veggies weren't spared. Together, they're up more than 9%. Economists say that that's worsening the situation for U.S. families who are already struggling trying to make ends meet.
I'll look at my bank statement, figure out what's going on, jot it down, and then sort of go through it and see what I can cut.
Author Michelle Singletary says, if you're trying to save on groceries, try skipping out on the credit or debit card.
Take cash to the grocery store. Take cash to even fill up your car, because you will find you'll drive less because you're thinking, I just spent $50, that $50 out of your hand.
Next time you find yourself going to the grocery store, make sure to take a list and adhere to your budget. And in any way possible, get any BOGOs or deals that you can. This is Samuel Rodriguez reporting for the South Florida Media News Network.
Miami Spice gives residents the opportunity to visit high-end restaurants at a low price. The network's Kenya Cardone visited Barbecue and Craft Company, one of the most recent additions to the program.
If you're in the mood for some barbecue ribs or some beef brisket, you're in luck, because Barbecue and Craft Company is bringing all the smoking hot deals for this year's Miami Spice. Come on in. Located on 947 Brickell Avenue, this restaurant prides itself on serving the best barbecue in town. Owner Anthony Nicolosi is a renowned barbecue connoisseur. He tells us that his story didn't happen overnight.
I started doing it, understanding it, and fell in love with it. And there really is a science behind making that perfect barbecue. And then here it is, years later, I just turned my passion into a dream. And it's nice giving the public the best barbecue, especially down here in South Florida.
Having grown up in New York, he explains why he felt Miami is the place to be for barbecue cuisine.
6 dry rub wings up. They come out, they want barbecue, bourbon, and beer. And as well as the Spanish females grew up on, lechon asado. So we make that on Saturday night. So we opened up in the heart of Brickell, and it's been fun ever since.
Although the star of their menu is their barbecue, the restaurant brings more to the table than just that. So now I'm going to go ahead and try one of their dry rub chicken wings. Let's take a bite. Dip it into this. What is this sauce
Alabama
again?
white sauce. It's good stuff.
All right.
So Kenya, what do you think of my wings?
Definitely amazing. You're not going to want to miss this. The best part, you can indulge in 3-course dining for only $28. Prefer to eat out for dinner instead? Order from the Miami Spice dinner menu and walk out with only a $45 tab.
I am very familiar with what Miami Spice does, and I think the prices that you can get here are out of the world.
And remember, you can only get a hold of this deal until September 30th. So make sure that you come on down to Barbecue and Craft Company to enjoy a gourmet meal for a great price. In Brickell, I'm Kenya Cardone, South Florida Media Network.
Today, a talented young artist is a small step closer to pursuing her big dreams thanks to an iHeartRadio open mic. The network's Lauren Wirtz has more on this golden opportunity.
Up-and-coming performers from all around South Florida are showing their talents for a chance to win $1,000.
$1,000 is going to go a long way for a teenager. If I'm a teenager with $1,000, I'm invested in myself, and I hope that these talented teens do the same thing.
Scholarship Plug loves to, fund different programs, to encourage students to do whatever they want to do. The sky is never the limit. I mean, it sounds cliche, but it's true. It transforms lives. So why not continue the legacy and pouring into other students?
Because I've always wanted to create a safe space for students, because growing up, there were places I really shouldn't have been at my age, and I hope that Teen Open Mic is something that accomplishes that. A place for them to grow and not fear.
It really means a lot to me. $1,000 means to me just one step closer to being able to put out the message that I have and use that as a tool into inspiring other people, empowering other people.
It's clear this monthly event brings energy and opportunity to young teens in the community. If you're interested in attending, the next show is the third Thursday of next month, and you can find more information at Teen Open Mic FTL here at iHeart for South Florida Media Network. I'm Lauren Wirtz.
The Marlins looking to avoid a sweep before heading out on the road.
That's still ahead, and so is the story.
I think it's something about not really hearing the snap count. Fans kind of talking a little bit of smack to you, a little more hostile environment, so you always got to be on your P's and Q's.
The Dolphins getting ready to play the Ravens and a quarterback who is a former MVP. Newsbreak will be back in 2 minutes.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago, in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
My mother was always very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual, and she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn, and she wasn't even really sure where she was at. It was very unsettling for her.
I felt so much better after my son told me, "Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you, and we'll figure it out."
How prepared is your family if a tornado shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a hurricane? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza. Yes.
Make a plan today.
Hitting the road, the Miami Dolphins are gearing up for their next game. It's the first road game of the season for the Fish.
The network's Anya Joseph has more on what the Fins are dealing with come kickoff on Sunday.
Week 1 of the NFL season is in the books, and to kick off, the Miami Dolphins are 1-0 with a win against the New England Pats. Now going into Week 2, the Fins are going to play the Baltimore Ravens. Will Tua be able to keep a solid performance against the Ravens and their star quarterback, Lamar Jackson? A stunning performance from Ravens quarterback former MVP Lamar Jackson in Week 1 against the New York Jets, getting 3 sacks out of Jets quarterback Joe Flacco, 1 interception, and even a forced fumble. Coming off the Patriots game, the Miami Dolphins got a force to be reckoned with this weekend. But the Fins are well aware they've got to stay on their P's and Q's on Sunday.
I think it's something about not really hearing the snap count. Fans kind of talking a little bit of smack to you, a little more hostile environment, so you always got to be on your P's and Q's. So it's something that I look forward to. You just got to be back on your A game, and everything's a little more of a challenge.
With 3 Dolphins tackles dealing with injuries following Week 1, left tackle Teron Armstead, right tackle Austin Jackson, and offensive tackle Greg Little, the Fins will need to keep up on D, and defensive players like Jerome Baker are up for the challenge.
I mean, we're excited. I'd say that. We're definitely excited. Anytime you go up against a guy that gives you a big challenge on defense, any defensive guy, the guy's going to get happy and hungry and ready to prove themselves. So that's the main thing. We're ready to prove ourselves against essentially a superstar in this league, and it's going to be a fun one Sunday.
Let's see if the Fins can keep up the win streak. Both teams square off on Sunday at 1 p.m. That's football. I'm Anya Joseph, South Florida Media Network.
Third time's a charm. The Miami Marlins were able to finally beat the Philadelphia Phillies for their last game of the series. Everything just seemed to be going great for the Marlins this game. Brian De La Cruz hit a 3-run homer to extend the lead in the 4th inning that cemented the game for the Marlins. The final score was Phillies 3, Marlins 5. The Marlins hit the road to play the Nationals in Washington today at 7:05.
That's all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Elena Key.
I'm Amanda Gray. Get more news anytime at sfmn.fiu.edu.